Molt bona tarda. Buenas tardes a todos. Good afternoon, everyone. It's always exciting to humbly share our fun journey at Chartboost, but I'm especially honored and happy to be here today. This is my hometown. This is Barcelona, and I think this is a very extraordinary event. And I would like to acknowledge the hard work from many people in this room that have been working day and night during the last days to put this thing together. I love it when I see great people getting together to turn obstacles into opportunities, and I think this is truly what Tech Spirit Barcelona is about. So thank you so much, first of all. Great job, Tech Spirit. So my name is Pepe Agell, and I always like to start my talks with a question. So I'll do the same today, and I would like to ask, who knows what happened on July 10th, 2008? Any guesses? Any guesses? The world was in crisis, yes. Anything else? The App Store, yes. That is the day that the App Store got announced. And I mean, we had the iPhone, we had smartphones, the beginning of a smartphones, but we didn't have an app store. We didn't have a marketplace where anyone could actually launch a product and service and reach anyone that had a smartphone in his or her pocket. But for me, the most important thing about the App Store is that anyone could, actually from anywhere, could build a mobile business. And this is what really the App Store is all about. It's about facilitating the fact that anyone can build a business and reach millions and hundreds of millions of people around the world. When I think about the apps that I've used in the last week, there's been a lot. And the App Store has actually transformed so many industries, from music, content, transportation, delivery, the way we play, the way we make reservations, the way we travel within cities. It's been phenomenal. And the reason why I'm saying all that is because that's what I'm going to be talking about. This is where Chartboost is placed. The App Store has also changed one big industry, which is the advertising industry. Apps need user acquisition, they need to scale, they need to acquire audiences, and the App Store has also created a massive industry where advertisers are after app installs. They're after users, valuable users, again, to scale and to reach more people. We're talking about 100 of billions in the next years. So Chartboost has been a witness, my company has been a witness of all this development of product services using the new technologies. For those who don't know, as it was mentioned in the introduction, we help app developers in two things. On one hand, we help them acquire users, and we work with apps, many of the apps represented here and many others on the gaming and other verticals, and we help them acquire users, and on the flip side, we help them monetize their audiences. So the way I'm gonna talk about today is actually I've prepared 10 things that I've learned during my trip as a mobile entrepreneur. So I hope I'm going to give examples of things that the way I've learned them, the way I've learned these things, and the way I've applied them in my day-to-day. But I've made it in a way that hopefully it can be applied in many different industries. So the first learning after these 9 years of experience as an entrepreneur is that we need to learn to be curious. I was born in Barcelona, one of the best cities in the world, but I owe to my parents the fact that they pushed me abroad, and I got to study in Switzerland. I decided to move to the United States 12 years ago, and I've always been moved by that spirit of learning new ways of living, new languages, new people. And I like a metaphor about being curious, which is the idea of always living like a traveler. And I think when you think about when you're embarking on a journey, on a trip, the attitude that we have as travelers is completely different than the attitude that we have when we're in our own city. We talk to more people, we speak other languages, we are way more open to opportunities, we're more observant to small details, to small changes. This is what happens to me when I come back to Barcelona. I notice a lot more things than people that live here. I wish we could keep this mindset of the traveler every day, because I think a lot of the entrepreneurial journeys, a lot of the startups are born when someone detects an opportunity that it's not that obvious for many other people. So that's my first learning, is to always cultivate your curiosity, to always be curious. Number 2 is to plan for a global impact. This is something that it's said often, but I truly believe that successful startups are those that tackle a global need. If you think that you're solving something for your own city, for your own country, you're not going to scale. You need to truly tackle a need that is global. This has come to me in a way that it's a little bit of an afterthought, because when we started at Chartboost, we started in this building in San Francisco, Pier 38. It was an incubator, and when we started, we had just a desk in that incubator. We started knocking in a lot of the doors of app developers in the city. But what we realized is that the first people to integrate Chartboost were actually these guys, the developers of Subway Surfers, a game developed in Denmark. I don't even know how they learned about Chartboost, but I had to build a communication channel with a company that was in Denmark when I was in San Francisco trying to build my company. And today, when I look at the map, this is the people that are logging into the Chartboost dashboard in live. So how, from San Francisco, can I reach to all these people around the world using my technology? You need to plan for that. You need to build teams that are able to connect with people in different languages using different channels. And when you plan for this global mindset, you need to invest in partnerships. One of the biggest spend for Chartboost, I would say, is in partnership events. We like to stay close to our partners. This is a picture of our office during GDC, the Game Developer Conference in San Francisco. This is what we love the most. We like bringing people together, our clients, opening up the doors of our office and making sure that they know that we're human, that we can talk to them. And this has been the basis of trust, in which even if we're global and we're miles away from each other, we can actually work well together. Number 4. Value your time. I think Silicon Valley has taught me about building a very efficient calendar, being very respectful with my own time and with the time of others. It's so critical. When I go to a meeting and there's no agenda, and I know when it starts, but I don't know when it's going to end, I get so anxious. So it's helped me manage my calendar, making sure that there's always a goal. We start with the goal, and making sure that nothing gets scheduled on my calendar for more than 30 minutes. I think that's, when you apply that, that's been the biggest learning of Silicon Valley in my day-to-day. Number 5, what's not written doesn't exist. That's what we say internally. When we started growing, we opened our first international office back in 2013. We decided to open a commercial office in Amsterdam. Until then, we didn't realize how many decisions we were making in the hallways of the office. Just talking to people. Hey, what do you think about this? Let's do that. And it never got documented. But when you have people in different time zones, under different ceilings, you need to document. Today, startups have access to software that facilitates this. I'm not particularly married to these companies, but I love messaging companies like Slack that facilitate conversations across the globe. Or we document everything in Confluence. So we have our own internal wiki where every single test that a developer in San Francisco does gets documented. And now that we have a Barcelona office with engineers, it's extremely important for them to know what's been done in the past and not reproduce the same over and over. Number 6, unify your culture. When we started at Chartboost, we were just a bunch of friends. And when you start a company with people that are very similar to you, you don't truly think about the company values. And it wasn't until 2013 when we started scaling and we went from 20 people to 100 people or to 90 people that we decided to put in writing what does it mean to be a Chartbooster. And it was a very nice exercise where it was not only the founding team, but also many people from different teams that got together to write down what it was that made our company different and that we wanted for future employees to know that would be our key traits. And that's been critical. It's part of how we interview. It's part of how we talk to clients. It's part of how we hire. And building and unifying that culture across offices becomes extremely important. Right now, we have 4 offices. We have Amsterdam, as I mentioned. It's a commercial office. We have around 20 people. We have San Francisco with over 60 people. We have Barcelona, which is an engineering office with around 16 people. And then we have Beijing, a commercial office with 10 people. Different backgrounds, different personal stories, but we are all Chartboosters. And little things that we do is actually celebrate the same things on the same day. So for instance, if we celebrate the anniversary of Chartboost on a specific day, all the offices have a similar event, even if it's in different time zones, but we have it at the same time. And that creates a sense of unity, a sense of we belong to the same company. Other things that we do is we have very similar perks. So in San Francisco, as you may know, there's the strong culture of really protecting the employee. Having lunch every day in the office, having happy hours. We've tried to reproduce all that also on the day-to-day of the offices of other cities. And again, the values get celebrated also throughout the organization. We have a group on Slack where we acknowledge and we thank the work of many other people in the company, so you can acknowledge a specific person in the company. And that's always tagged with a company value. So if someone helped you with passion, you tag it with the value of passion. If someone helped you with something that conveyed a lot of developer love, we put the developer love as a value, so that everything that we do gets celebrated under the lenses of the company values. That's been super strong and something that has made every office in a different manner, but every office very proud of the company culture. Number 7. Chartboost has been around for 9 years. I cannot tell you how many lives we've gone through in 9 years as a startup. I always grew up with the mentality that a company is born, it develops, it sells, and you're done. There's nothing like that. A company has so many more lives than just one. And I personally learned how to develop myself to adjust to every phase of the company. We've changed teams. We've made a lot of bad decisions throughout the years. We've changed the revenue streams. I'm not going to get too technical, but a big transformation that advertising has gone through is the rise of programmatic. So when we started the company, we would buy with very manual campaigns, advertising campaigns. Today, everything is automated. It uses data. And in the last 4 years, we've completely transformed the revenue streams internally to make more than 50% come from that programmatic revenue that was not even existent at the beginning of the transformation 4 years ago. That changes, again, the teams, the way you set up goals, even the P&L of a company. So be ready to transform, because, again, a startup doesn't have just one life. It's not quick. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Number 8, be honest. Probably one of the most critical learnings I've gone through as a leader and as an entrepreneur. I think we grew up with the idea that a leader is someone that always has the answer, that knows the direction, that is strong. And the reality is that leading a company, there's been so many times where I had no idea where we had to go, what was the most important decision. I didn't even know how to prioritize. And it's especially in the bad moments, in the hard moments, that being honest with yourself, with the emotions that you're going through, and being honest with your teams, and being able to say, hey guys, I have no idea what the future holds, but I'm excited to figure it out with you guys. That's the strongest thing that you can have as a leader. There's a lot of theories today about vulnerability and leading with vulnerability, but if you're able to apply it on your day-to-day, that's probably the most magical transformation that I've gone through. We had to go through a layoff 2 years ago, and we reduced the headcount by 30%. That was probably the biggest fear that I grew up with, is to having to lay off people, and I went through that. And being honest with that decision, and being able to communicate the reasons, the doubts, my fears, and why I felt so much of a traitor with the team, was probably the thing that made my team stick together, those that stayed in the company, and got them to continue doing their job with motivation. We are reaching the end, and I'm going to talk about prototyping. I think today, thankfully, we live in a wonderful time of our life where prototyping is simple. We have tools, and it can be relatively cheap. What I like about prototyping is two things. First is that it forces you to define what success means. And second is that it teaches you that there's no such thing as forever decisions. We need to be ready to change. We need to be ready to try, to fail, and to iterate. And I've applied prototyping in many decisions of my life. I'm going to give you two examples that are tied to Chartboost and an example that is tied to my personal life. The first thing, we've prototyped at Chartboost even with acquisitions. In a search for innovation, we decided in 2016, 4 years ago, we decided to acquire a company that was connecting advertisers with influencers. We were attracted by the world of influencer marketing, and we thought that our advertisers would really benefit from a platform that connected them with influencers, with YouTubers. We realized after a year of integration, trying to map their customer base with ours, that was not the case. The mindset of my clients didn't resonate with YouTubers and the way they thought. And I decided to kill that project. After a year, after spending the money acquiring a company from Boston, after bringing the team in-house, merging the platform, merging the client base, we decided to close it down. But I always approached that with the mindset of prototyping. That's part of innovating. That's part of researching. Another example is our Japan office. In 2015, the App Store in Japan became the #1 App Store in terms of revenue. And we wanted to capitalize on that opportunity. And we decided to build a team of 6 people. We went there, we built up an office, we hired locals, an amazing team actually. But a year and a half later, we saw no big increment on revenues. And we had to come to the hard decision of shutting it down. But I think projects like these are meant to contribute or be killed because they're prototypes. And if you approach them as such, you're able to iterate way faster. And I promised a third example that comes from my personal life. I know in the future I will live in Africa. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I'm extremely attracted by the opportunities that are happening right now and the transformation of society in Africa. And today, I was able to spend 2 months with my family, still working for my company, and move the family to Nairobi for 2 months. And that's something that today, if you're in the right mindset of prototyping, you're able to do. You can connect with people in so many ways. I didn't feel like a stranger in a country that I had never been to, in a city that I had never been to. I was able to connect with tech entrepreneurs. I was able to work from their offices, and that's possible today. So that's for me to say that prototyping, if you apply it in your day-to-day at the company and in your day-to-day as a family and as a person, you're going to be facing the decisions in a way more efficient and in a way more lightweight way. as before. My point number 10, and I don't want to end this presentation with a human note, which is that no matter what you do, no matter what your company is about, no matter how big your team is, no matter how big your plan is, never put your life on hold while you're starting your company. This is something that I've learned the hard way. When I look at the pictures of my friends in San Francisco from activities in the past, there is a big gap. I am in no picture from the kind of the Friends albums from 2011 to 2014. It's like if my life didn't exist for 3 years. And when I think about it, we were traveling a lot. I was traveling every single weekend to be in the city where I had to be on Monday at 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. Sharp. And I decided to postpone a lot of the personal spaces that I needed as a human being, my friends. I didn't have kids. I didn't value my personal relationship with my wife or my girlfriend back in the day the way I should. So looking forward, never put your life on hold. Take care of your body. And if you can do it at work like I do it today, I started the workout club within Chartboost. We have a team that we go running together every week. We also do, we go to the gym together every now and then. And it connects you with your people in a different manner. It's actually part of the culture. I want everyone at Chartboost to take care of their body, to find spaces to work out, whatever it is. I don't care if you do yoga, trekking, running, or CrossFit. Whatever it is, you need to find that space. And again, you're going to feel way better. The same happens with your kids. There's never a good moment to start having kids. And I postponed that decision so many times until 2015, when I finally got to the realization that there's never going to be a better moment to have kids than right now. It never gets better, so right now it's probably the better. Fast forward, I've had 3 amazing kids in the last 4 years, and when I think about the memories, about the days where I'm spending my energy and where I feel most fulfilled today, it's really with these 3 little creatures. That's it for today. I hope with these 10 perspectives of things that I've learned during 9 years of starting, growing, and founding a company in Silicon Valley with a global impact helps you in your day-to-day. Thank you so much.